Hello everyone. Wishing you a very happy Republic Day. You are watching HackerTV, the official podcast channel of Ace Hack 5.0. Ace Hack returns with its fifth edition, bringing together innovation, execution, and real-world problem solving on one platform. So, dates already announced हो गई है, registrations भी start हो गए हैं. So stay tuned for more updates. I am your host, Jayati Shri, and today we are bringing you insights straight from the people who shape innovation behind the scenes, our incredible mentors. Mentors are not just judges or guides, they are industry builders, problem solvers, and visionaries. And today we are diving into their journeys, perspectives, and advice for the next generation of hackers. Joining us today is Mr. Sudhanshu Kumar Jha. Sudhanshu is a passionate innovator with a strong background in education, writing, and leadership. He is an award-winning contributor, a published author of both scientific research and fiction, and the president of the and sorry, and the president and a published author of both scientific research and fiction, and the president of the Green Mind, where he works to promote climate literacy and sustainability. Recognized at iMoon 44.0 and the Inspire Manak Rewards, he continues to drive meaningful impact through innovation and collaboration. Hi, Sudhanshu. Hope you are doing great.
Hi. Yes, I am. How are you, Jyoti?
I'm totally fine, sir. So, tell me about yourself, Sudhanshu, and how did you manage to be here where you are today?
So, uh, so I'll start from the beginning. My life, the one that I focus a lot, started in ninth standard when I started my own NGO, the Green Mind. I participated in a lot of conferences, met a lot of professors and people who were shaping the lives of many people, many stakeholders surrounded by climate change and its impacts. Through there, I got involved with Niti Aayog and was the ambassador of Atal Tinkering Labs. There, then so through the journey that I had with Niti Aayog, I developed two products. One was a women's safety device, and the
Mm,
other was advanced walking stick. So they both won national awards and helped me pave down my path from there onwards into the this engineering field. So from the projects, as you can see, I was very enthusiastic towards IoT and electricals and components working on chips, etc. But like throughout my journey, I realized I had almost covered every aspect of the IoT, and that's when I decided to move into the computer science field. And I remember in my 11th standard, I was selected by ministry to represent India in Japan.
oh,
So while in Japan, I made a few friends from Mongolia, Samoa, and other countries, as well as some Japanese students as well. And I got to realize that I can the kind of exposure they get from their government or their teachers is somewhat lacking in India compared to the schooling education.
mm,
And that's when I decided let's go into the CS field and explore it further. I explored it further. I realized what was not for me, what was for me, and that's when I landed in the cloud computing field. But throughout this journey from my 12th standard and like today, I have
mm,
went through a lot of companies, worked for a lot of startups who are in Bangalore or were in Chennai, etc. And then worked with Rescale Azure developer community for organizing events and hackathons at Microsoft premises in India.
mm.
So it took me around 3 to 4 years of community services, but that's when I uh, got the most of the opportunity to network with other people. And so, yeah, that was all about me.
Nice, nice, Sudhanshu. It was actually a very great journey of yours. So, you said you landed in cloud computing. So, and your journey spans a very much tech side like cloud computing, also software development, also leadership, social impact. So, what was the turning point that led you towards cloud computing? And like, how did you get to know like this domain is the perfect fit for me?
So, regarding the cloud computing, I when I started my journey in tech, I'll be very honest, I didn't love coding the way many people around me did. I wasn't excited by writing hundreds of lines of code just for the sake of it.
Mm,
And but what I did love was fixing things when they broke. So I loved understanding why something wasn't working, tracing bottlenecks, solving performance issues, and making websites or systems stable. So over time, I realized something important, that I was more interested in systems than syntax.
mm,
And that's when I that curiosity naturally pushed me toward cloud computing. It felt like a place where my problem solving skills mattered more than memorizing code for TypeScript or JavaScript,
JavaScript.
whatever. So it was about how systems scale, how failures are handled, and how users experience reliability. So when I started AWS, I'll be very honest. I started with AWS, then I did Azure, and then
Mhm.
at last I did G Cloud. So when I started practicing AWS, I noticed cloud was also a rapidly evolving field. Mm, a lot of my close cousins who are already in this field,
Mm,
um, one of them is located in Bangalore, and they introduced me to this field of DevOps. So it's developer operations, and that's when
mm.
I realized that इसमें बहुत पैसा है to be honest. But it is something that is of my interest as well. So
Mm.
if I have interest in it, why should not I go with it? It's a safe choice as well
Yeah.
आज के time. So there was no fixed syllabus for cloud computing. You learned by building, breaking, and optimizing your systems. And surprisingly, it felt easier to practice because results were visible immediately.
Okay.
And that's when I knew this domain fits my thinking style. So cloud wasn't about being the best coder in the room. It was about being the best decision maker for a system. So that's when I realized that, isme I can like create my own dictatorship if I'm in a
Mm.
team or in a company. So that's why I opted for cloud computing.
Nice, nice. Even I'm a person who writes, who loves to write code more, but okay. But yeah, if something has, if something makes more money and that too, it's from our interest, from our passion, eventually the thing goes more deeply in. Right. Okay. So, Sudhanshu, like you have a 3+ years of AWS cloud practice. So, what is the biggest misconception like students usually have about cloud computing, or what are the skills that really matter in real world cloud roles? Like,
Hmm, hmm. Yeah. So misconception, there are a lot of misconceptions. Even if I'm talking generally, BTech students have a lot of misconceptions about the field that they might choose. Doesn't matter it's cloud computing, even if it's artificial intelligence or machine learning, just for the sake of it.
mm,
Number one, I feel student thinks that college studies or syllabus is enough for your job. It isn't actually. It really is not. You will not be asked to write "Hello World" in your interview or
interview.
anything. So DSA, I know it's important. It might be asked in MNCs if you're targeting MNCs, but even in startups, I don't feel many of the startups ask DSA, but they do ask. That's important that you get to learn in college, but a part of it, I don't find any subject that's relevant. I think most of them are physics or mathematics till the year 2 ends. So that's one of the misconception. Go out of the syllabus, so you will have to learn something else. The other biggest misconception I find is that if I get an AWS certification, I'm cloud ready. So this is not really like, certifications are important. I value them, but they are entry tickets, not the destination. Think of it like a journey, a train journey. You have to board a train on a railway station. You'll need to have the ticket pass or something. That ticket is a certification that can,
AWS certificate.
yes, it can provide you with the knowledge that you might need theoretically. It will provide you, uh, you know a start for your journey. But where to go from there, which destination you'll have to deboard the train, it's up to you. So in real world, nobody will ask you which certification you have. They mostly ask, and even they have asked me from my personal experience, they most probably ask, why did you choose this architecture? If someone is in cloud, so they will most probably ask, why did you choose this architecture for this project? What happens if traffic spikes 10 times? Or how do you reduce cost without breaking performance? So they won't ask which certification you did. It's just an entry ticket. It won't get you anywhere else. And even if you start losing interest, or even if you don't practice enough every day, you'll lose interest. And gradually you will start to like, forget your theoretical concepts, how you could have implemented things and stuff. So you'll again need to back into the theories and other
Mm.
modules, etc., that are online. That's why I believe the most important cloud skill is architectural thinking. It's very important to understand what a website does, what it doesn't, and which architecture would it be perfect to host it over a cloud. We, as cloud engineers, aren't hired to click buttons here and there. We are hired to design systems that won't crash, that balance costs,
Mm.
security, and performance, and who can anticipate failures before they can happen. So most of the time, we know where this website will fail, or else otherwise.
Mm.
So, real world real cloud roles demand system thinking, trade-off analysis, and very importantly, it asks for clear communication with non-technical stakeholders. आपके कोई engineering head हैं, you can talk to them, you can talk to your senior who's an engineer already, and convey yourself properly with them, because you both are in the same field. But what about the HR manager or your CEO
Mm.
or founder if you are in a startup? How will you communicate?
Manage to communicate.
Yeah, because they don't have any knowledge of React or Next.js. They are not aware that Next.js is more SEO friendly than React.
Mm.
Why did you choose something? What it means for the system? It's a very important skill in itself to clearly communicate yourself with the non-technical stakeholders. And you don't become valuable by knowing services of AWS or G Cloud or Azure. You become valuable by knowing when not to use those services. It's important because, for example, if there's a startup which has a very minimum product, and they are not working, or they haven't like launched their main idea into the market, you will deploy their front end, or you'll deploy their front end on an EC2 instance, let's say.
Mm.
And now what the structure would be, users are coming, they are accessing front end from the EC2 instance directly. What
Mhm.
happens if thousands of users start accessing the front end in the EC2 instance at the same time? There's no proper layout between the distribution of the services.
Mm.
So you might use load balancers. Okay, but for a startup that hasn't launched its product yet, or is not some doesn't have a website that is more likely to be accessed by others, their customers, there's no
Mm.
point of introducing any elastic load balancer between the user and the EC2 instance. What that would do is it will just increase the cost of the service and nothing else, because कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा 7 दिन से for the like continuous 7 days, only one person is coming to your website, and you still have a load balancer in place. It's just causing you trouble. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. And EC2 already has, the EC2 instance already has auto scaling capacities. So it can manage these smaller or minimal load balances. It can manage itself it on its own.
Hmm.
It's very important to know when to not use a service, क्योंकि just you have learned it doesn't mean कि ये हर जगह ही अब
हर
use.
यूज आ जाएगा. राइट सर. इवन कोई भी टेक्सटाइल पे इट्स शुड बी लाइक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपको पता होना चाहिए लाइक व्हाट टू यूज वेयर. लाइक नॉट एवरीथिंग कैन बी अप्लाइड एवरीवेयर.
Yes.
Right. So, Sudhanshu, you have been associated with initiatives like ABSS with PM Modi and Niti Aayog. Yeah. What leadership or execution lessons stood out to you that young professionals rarely learn in like classrooms that they rarely learn?
Hmm. So it's far back in time when I remember I did Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam. It was National Education Conference,
Hmm.
and I did it with PM Modi. He was the chief guest there, and I was tasked. So suppose the event was on 29th July, and our obviously our training went on till 28th night.
Hmm.
So what happened there was I was told on the evening of the 28th that I will be the anchor who will introduce Modi ji to when he will arrive, and I'll be the one who will introduce it to the others. And there are literally lively 3,000 people, students, teachers, professionals there, and it's the first event of Bharat Mandapam. So
Oh.
I had only maybe 12 to 15 hours to prepare myself mentally. So when I worked around national platforms like National Education Conference as an anchor or Niti Aayog initiatives as an ambassador, I saw leadership at a completely different scale. Even though I had my own NGO,
Hmm.
the biggest lesson was that execution mattered more than in my intention or anyone's intention. Even if I wanted to do something best for the world, I will need to execute it perfectly, or else my intentions alone wouldn't work or count.
Wouldn't work.
In classrooms or yeah, so in schools and classes, we focused on ideas, but at that platform, timelines, accountability, and coordination decided the success, I would say. I I learned a lot of things. One of the things were, again, I'll repeat again, clear communication. It was the best one. I always needed to communicate myself perfectly with my trainees who were training me during the rehearsals, and
Hmm.
to the people who were like reading me with stuff and vagara vagara. So I needed to communicate with them because it's a huge script. It has a lot of Hindi words. Sometimes there are English anchoring segments. There are Hindi anchoring segments. And I personally went for the English segment. But even though I went for English, I was like directed into the Hindi
Hindi segment also.
yeah, because of my voice modulation, they pulled me into the Hindi ones as well. And Hindi has one of the toughest words I have encountered in my life. And in those scripts, I needed to communicate myself clearly that I'm not able to understand this word or speak or pronounce this one. So it was very important to communicate myself clearly to them, to the secretary who came there, and other people.
Hmm.
One other thing that I learned as a leader, I think small delays compound into national level impact. I was I had to get a perfect haircut. Obviously, I had to trim my beard completely because for
Hmm.
student it wouldn't be good that you are representing on national stage. So I didn't do it till the 20th. So I returned home by 9:15 p.m. at night, and I went around every nook, every corner and nook of the colony and society in my locality. I went everywhere and found one barber shop that was open at that time and got a haircut, got my
Be a gym.
so uh, I that's when I realized कि sometimes we think ना कि चलो देखा जाएगा या कर लेंगे बाद में अभी है time.
We procrastinate a lot.
Yeah. So at when it comes to those moments, you cannot delay anything at all. That's what I remember. I got to know, and that's why the later that year in December, I anchored another event where education minister was the chief guest. So that's when I like kept everything in my mind that what I should do and what I shouldn't. And the last thing that I learned, I already knew it a lot before, but it gave me a impact, was that leadership meant taking responsibility even if it wasn't my fault.
Hmm.
Because even if there was a slight mispronunciation, or something went wrong or off script from me or my other anchors who were there present with me, our our trainees and the people from the sangathan who trained us, they were with us. So
Hmm.
when it came about the mistakes that we made, they were in front of us and told that ki they are kids and stuff like that. So they took the responsibility upon themselves, and we were relieved from that. But when it came to the interviews and giving interviews to news channels and to ministry channels for
Hmm.
media publications, etc., they never our trainees never came out in front, and we were already pushed forward to give the interviews and enjoy the moment of success we had. So that's one of the qualities that I love the most about them. So it's important to have that stakeholder empathy. When something affects millions of people, you must think out of and beyond your own comfort and ego. I was
Hmm.
around 16 or 17 years old, and it was pretty big deal for me to go in front of PM and do any anchoring. And even if PM wasn't there, it was itself to give anchoring to an event where 3,000 people are directly watching you.
Hmm.
That's another level of you get nervous and
Nervous.
you start stuttering and miss out words. So I had to pull myself in and take deep breaths and follow a lot of things to get through that. But eventually I did, and it was amazing. So that mindset is rarely taught in classrooms. It's what this is exactly what that separates good professionals from nation builders.
Hmm. Nice. So few things like you told, uh, communication matters, how you communicate, and taking the empathy of like what you are doing, taking the responsibility of everything is very important.
Mm.
Nice. So, Sudhanshu, you are a 4x National Awardee and a Inspired Manak Award recipient also. So, what does true innovation means to you? And like, how can students build solutions that can actually create impact?
Hmm. I think most of the viewers would relate to it the most because they are participating in a
Hmm.
competition and in a hackathon where they have to innovate. See, one thing I hate about hackathons now that are happening is that the audience and the participants have made it into a one-day competition, to be honest, and uh, there's no motivation or inspiration to go beyond the hackathon,
Hmm.
introduce your project to the world. Most of them, what they do, most of them, like, build one project and kept it again, like repeat it against many hackathons and go on to win prizes and etc., but they are not turning it into the market product. And the
Hmm.
other thing, some new kids who build a new and fresh product at a hackathon, let's say at ASAC, this fifth edition, let's say
Hmm.
a four members team, which it's their first hackathon ever, and they have built something cool with their, like, they have built a SaaS platform, AI powered SaaS platform. So what most of them would do is, if they get, if they win, they will just keep the check or take the cash, distribute it among the
Among
members, and
themselves.
they will just forget about the idea. That's a very bad, like, it's a reality and it is happening in the current time, but it shouldn't happen at all, because there's a potential of every product to hit the market in India.
Hmm.
India has the biggest market to every product, even things we can't even imagine. We have vegetable choppers market which is blooming in India. We have toys market, which is blooming in India. That's why China is enjoying a lot in the toy industry, because
Hmm.
most of our imports are
Done from
from China.
China.
So see, true innovation is not about novelty. So it's about relevance. How relevant can you get with your targeted audience?
Hmm.
My nationally recognized projects didn't win because they were complex. I could have told into a lot of platforms that I used GPS module, GSM model, this and that for that purpose and that purpose. They won because they solved real problems. Women and children do face a lot of problems. If I'm going like 11 p.m. in my streets here and there, I might not feel as much unsafe as a female or a child who is going there alone
Hmm.
would feel. So it was relevant to the real problem that I wanted to solve. I worked in real conditions, so I made sure that my project would work for every type of conditions. Even if it malfunctions, it has SOS systems and capabilities, hit button capabilities, etc. And it considered real users. Most of the projects nowadays imagine that there might exist a market for it or an audience for it, but that doesn't exist. Like people
Proper
might,
audience.
हाँ, आपको जरूरी थोड़ी आपके प्रोडक्ट को खरीदने के लिए लोग हों. इफ यू आर सॉल्विंग दैट इज इररेलेवेंट. अगर आप व्हाट्सएप बना रहे हो इंडिया के लिए, इट्स इररेलेवेंट टू क्रिएट नाउ. क्यों? क्योंकि
Hmm.
आधे से ज्यादा क्या पूरा मार्केट व्हाट्सएप के पास है, मेटा के पास है. So unless or until you are targeting some real problem that WhatsApp lacks, you might not able to escalate. For example, Web 2 versus Web 3. Web 2, an example of Meta WhatsApp.
Hmm.
Telegram thought of it, introduced privacy to another level, introduced ledgers and tokenized their app. So introduced Telegram as a platform, as a Web 3. So although it didn't matter to the old age or older people, it targeted the young audience. They what they promoted and marketed is the privacy.
Hmm.
They shared that the real problem with WhatsApp is the privacy. So we have Telegram. Nobody can see what you have sent. Nobody can realize anything that you have done there. So that's why Telegram went across. But I don't think there's much market in the messaging app industry. So you don't really need to build a product for
Hmm.
something where there are no real users are there. So, for example, when building solutions for women's safety or assistive tech, the walking stick, the
Hmm.
challenge wasn't technology. कोई भी बना सकता है. 10,000 रुपए भी दे दो. Any like कोई भी electrical shop or project school project shop can help and create it.
Hmm.
It was about usability, affordability, and reliability.
Okay.
To create a project or to create a product is not as big as a deal compared to marketing and selling that product is.
Hmm.
Even if you can make another what's like say if you can make something that every user might need in the current age, if you do not market it properly, it won't like last longer. So you need to understand that innovators need to spend less time chasing awards and these recognition and etc. They should spend more time on understanding the pain points.
Hmm.
Impact driven innovation, for example, always outlives hype driven innovation. There's no way something that is just for a hype. India में everything just stays for a season and उसके बाद it's gone. इंडिया में ट्रेंड बहुत जल्दी बदलता है.
हाँ.
इंडिया में इतना बड़ा मार्केट है ना कि इफ यू लॉन्च अ प्रोडक्ट, कल ही आपके 10 कॉम्पिटिटर खड़े हो जाएंगे आपसे बेटर प्रोजेक्ट लेके आके. So that's why you need to make sure the primary impact you wanted to create on the project is
Hmm.
long enough, even after you have launched it.
Nice. So it's not just about innovation, like it should have an MVP, and how can you market it more? How can you can show it to the people? And you are also going to you are also having a new startup, so you can relate it more.
Yeah, true.
So you said you were an SSC Japan alumni. How did international exposure reshape your thinking, like about innovation or about discipline or about problem solving? How did it reshape your thinking?
Japan, to be honest, like it's just amazing. Another place. Even if I get a chance, I will shift to Japan right now. It's so beautiful. There, the people there are so respectful. Although they know. I mean, even I know that there's racism, a
Hmm.
slight racism because of the skin color. But
Okay.
मैं इंडियन हूँ and I can relate कि what that really means. But they are really respectful. Even if I'm brown person coming going there and living amongst themselves, although they might tell their kids to stay away or something like that, but they will always be respectful for on your face. They will always listen to you and understand what you are like feeling or what you want to share with them. And one of the most important thing, they are so disciplined, the best disciplined country I've ever seen. There was no garbage bin or there was no dustbin out there, and still there was not a single wrapper or anything there. They were so consistently devoted to their cleanliness or their behavioral patterns and other stuff. So they are amazingly living a life there. And innovation in Japan isn't loud, to be honest. It is
Hmm.
consistent. Their kids are being taught how to build project regularly, like which is aligned with the current trend. So they are
Hmm.
not just building like 100 or 200 years ago projects. Still now they are building drones, they are building uh, crafts and etc. that military can use, their government can use it, and other stuff. So problem solving isn't rushed there. So it's just methodical, where they have a few patterns and they are teaching that to their kids so that they are able to make job. That's why Sony is amazingly doing well in these current times.
Yes.
In Japan, to be honest, taught me a lot of things. One of them was small improvement done daily
Hmm.
always beat sudden breakthroughs. Because for a project that might need a lot of integration and a lot of services to be in it,
Hmm.
you cannot develop it overnight, and even if you can, you should not. Step by step building a brick by brick of your project is very important, and that's one of the things I learned there during my phase and interactions with their students.
Hmm.
They respect long term quality a lot. Most like India में तो ये बिल्कुल नहीं होता, to be honest. I know there are a lot of corruption or other things that involved in
Hmm.
Japan. They value long term quality a lot. उनके लिए for a bridge, and just let's forget about the bridge. For them, building a house is very important because it's an earthquake prone area. They
Yes.
regularly experience, even in my duration I was there for 7 8 days.
Hmm.
We also like experienced 2 3 earthquakes. So
Okay.
that's the level of earthquake they have, and still they have so many skyscrapers there standing tall in the sky, is because they have like introduced this baseline moving moving
Hmm.
base structure for buildings. And they took us into the basements and into this area where these like huge iron balls were placed inside at the base of the buildings, so that in case of earthquakes they don't dingle away and
Hmm.
broke out. So they are amazing people. Their mindset is just deeply influenced of how disciplined and behaviorally perfect they can be. And for them it's like, if I am a person living in a place, it's my responsibility to keep everyone and
Every.
everything around me safe, secure and clean. In India we don't really have that at all. One of the best thing in Japan I like is that students after school have to clean their classrooms themselves, the desks,
Oh,
their classrooms. So the students coming in the next period or in the or the next day at the first period, so when they come they don't find it like
dirty and all.
uncomfortable. They are so after every like period there. After every session over, the students stood up. A few of them were assigned for the day for the cleaning task, and they took out their towels. They just rubbed their surrounding, etc., etc. They even rubbed the floor around us, and they just calmly left. So this was amazingly well done. In India, अगर हम किसी को बोले स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स को खास करके, so वो तो टीचर को ही मारने के लिए दौड़ेंगे.
हाँ,
But
तमाशा
but
हो जाएगा फिर.
but I think discipline and respect for everything around us are the two major things that I think that Japan exposure really introduced me to.
Nice. Even वहाँ Japan से we should also learn something, like especially the civic sense, the the civic sense, the discipline they have, and the one more thing you said, that they make projects aligned with the future trends or current trends. We don't do here. This don't happen usually.
Uh,
So, Sudhanshu, if you could go back and mentor your younger self, what is one mindset shift that would have uh, given growth to your journey?
hmm. Um, See, I've okay. So my path compared to other school students or college students was generally better. One of the reason was because I came from military background. My father was in Air Force, so
Oh,
I had the opportunity to start my education from Kendra Vidyalaya.
hmm,
So it was itself one of a big deal because it's a central school provided by central government for army personnel, etc., and for their wards. So around me were most of the time disciplined kids. Although once we grew up and I came to Delhi, and in like higher classes, a lot of kids made messes and other things. My circle was involved with good students or people. Like we also made mistakes or did fun acts together, but our circle was of students who were devoted to studies as well and the other
hmm,
activities. That's one of the key benefits that helped me a lot. But something that I might tell my younger self would be, I personally think friends are not always the best teammates. Right people always are the best people. You should. So I started my NGO, and I got in touch with a lot of friends because of familiarity and because contribution or charitable stuff together. But slowly, slowly, we all got into our separate ways and fade away from that portion of life. And that's when I realized that having the best teammates and building a good team is very
very
important.
important.
Because our values, skills, and work ethics should align because they matter more than familiarity. And choosing the right people to collaborate
Hmm.
changes literally everything. So I will just tell my younger self to be within your friend circle, go out, attend more events, find students
Thanks.
and professionals from other areas and get in touch with them.
Nice. Even I am going to not take that every time. It's not about the friend circle you have.
Yeah.
You need to have the right people around you. Okay.
Yes.
So, Sudhanshu, let's wrap the things up. My last and final question to you. The message you would like to share with students who wants to build career with, who wants to build career combining technology, leadership, everything. Like, what would be your final message to them?
For the youth, uh, technology today gives you power without precedent. But power without direction is just noise and
Hmm.
nothing else. Focus on building skills, build your character. Very important. Build for impact and communicate clearly. Don't ask only that what job will I get or what field will I get into. Ask yourselves what problem will I solve most of the time. For me, it was cloud computing
Hmm.
because of that. If I asked myself even today, what problems will I want to solve in the job industry or in my career path for coming forward in the future, I would always reply, let's go with cloud because I want to solve and fix things. So stop asking irrelevant questions to yourself and start thinking about the future. Build skills, build your character. It's very important, and build for impact. So that's how you can like build a career that is your legacy. There are a lot of people in India, there are a lot of youngsters in India who do a lot of stuff, and there's competition literally everywhere in India, in every field. NEET mein ho,
Hmm.
JEE mein ho, UPSC or NDA, anywhere you go, you will find, even for one vacant job, you will find hundreds of people lining there because they all are in that field. So pop overpopulation is giving you a lot of competition in the coming age. So start building your career yourself in the coming age. So start building your career yourselves. You have chat gpt, you have Claude, you have Gemini. Literally the best advantage to this generation and to us is we have AI. Back
Hmm.
then they didn't even had it, and just on a single tap I can see my syllabus, I can see my things and stuff, and I can
Everything.
create a plan for a project. So start building a career which you want to be a legacy of, because there are so many people you want to stand out of them. Yeah.
Nice. So I'm also going to take this advice again. Uh, okay, building your career and focusing, having a clarity in your mind is also very important.
Yeah.
So, Sudhanshu, it was really an absolute pleasure having you with us today, and your knowledge or your words inspire not just me. I hope so. Everyone who is watching, all the audience are going to get some really good insights and really some good notes from this episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, to everyone watching this was Hacker TV, powered by ASAC 5.0. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mentor insights, tech conversations, and hackathon stories. Until next time, keep building and keep hacking smart. This is your host, Jyoti Shri, signing off.